slack getting some training videos out to y'all. I'll try to do better, but here it is on January 31st. Can you believe I've got azaleas blooming in my backyard? So I love being in the Southland. I just came back from Wisconsin last week, snow on the ground, kind of dark and gloomy. The people were fantastic, though, and I had the opportunity to travel around the state and do some training. We presented the course, The Dynamics of Credible Leadership. And, of course, part of what we've been promoting with the whole police dynamics paradigm is this idea of making the character connection. And that is when you want to praise or recognize somebody when they've done something praiseworthy or they've achieved something worthwhile, you want to connect the achievement with the character quality that produced it, the fruit with the seed of good character. And when you make that connection, you're doing more than just saying good job or keep up the good work, which is what we typically do when we recognize somebody. And we're taking it to a deeper level. We're recognizing and praising them for something that makes them who they are. And it makes a heart connection there for some reason that's very, very profound. In fact, if we're not careful, if we acknowledge achievement alone and exclude the character that produced it, we can actually inadvertently encourage bad character. Interesting paradigm. Drill down a little bit in the Police Dynamics website here. Do a search for character connection. Do a search for character and competency, and you'll see us develop that whole concept in a little bit more detail. But we're trying to impress upon leaders, supervisors, even parents to respond to their children and to their officers in this way to connect the character quality with the achievement. So while I'm there in Wisconsin, I received an email from a colleague of mine in Australia, of all places. And it drove this very thing home. He's bought into the whole police dynamics paradigm, and he's trying to promote it within his agency there. He started a program called Values Plus, which is all about promoting the qualities and good character within his particular agency in Australia. And he had an incident that occurred the other day, a critical incident, where one of his officers was engaged in a situation where 4 escapees had escaped from, I think, a juvenile prison. They went on this crime spree and were committing multiple very serious aggravated felonies. And one of his officers did a fantastic job in responding to it, brought the whole thing to a conclusion, got the people arrested and all that. And he wrote his report out, he sent it up his chain of command through email, and the commander of this particular district responded to this email, praised the officer, as you'll see in a minute, for his good work, and also referenced the fact that the assistant commander had likewise made note of the officer's conduct and performance in this particular critical incident. Well, the colleague of mine that I was speaking about, he saw this email exchange and he realized that they were praising the officer for the achievement and not the character qualities that produced it. So he decided to intervene. And I want to share with you this email exchange. I'm going to try to keep a kind of secret as to exactly what agency this came from. And some of the vernacular might not be familiar to you. It's not familiar to me in terms of the lingo that they use, the police jargon in Australia. But I think you get the gist of it. So let me share with you this. I had the opportunity to share this with the group in Wisconsin, too, as a matter of fact. And so this is the email to the officer from the district commander. And he refers to the officer by name. He says, "Thanks, really good job. The assistant commander," who he also identifies, "has asked me to pass on his thanks for your efforts. Regards." And he signs off on it as a commander. Well, a colleague of mine, he's an intermediate level supervisor. He sees this exchange. He decides that he needs to intervene. And I want to share with you his response, and you'll see the difference I'm trying to make here. So he says, this is his response to the district commander. "I've posted the following PDA, reference the detective sergeant. Can you also please let the assistant commander know of this entry? It's an example of how Values Plus really adds substance to these PDA entries." So PDA must be like an online way for them to get evaluation or something. So he says, "The detective sergeant was the night shift crime supervisor when 4 escapees from a youth center committed a series of multiple violent crimes across the district and into the eastern region. The crimes included armed robberies, carjacking, theft, aggravated burglaries, and high-speed pursuits. The detective sergeant coordinated, supervised, and managed the investigative response. This was a highly dynamic and fluid situation, which was handled well by the detective sergeant. He oversaw and ensured appropriate NS INR assets were deployed to all jobs. The detective sergeant ensured AIM packages were obtained centrally and to standard. He also was able to provide both written and verbal briefings up the chain of command. Both the assistant commander and the superintendent recognized and acknowledged his good work. What was very pleasing to see was the good character traits displayed by the detective sergeant that caused this good work. So he's making the character connection here. He displayed, and he goes on to list them, thoroughness, knowing what factors will diminish the effectiveness of his work and words if neglected. Responsibility, knowing and doing what is expected of him. Diligence, investing all of his energy to complete the task assigned to him. And decisiveness, he recognized key factors and finalized difficult decisions. Now, if you're the officer, which one of those evaluations do you want? Do you want the one that says, good job, keep up the good work, thanks for your efforts? Or do you want the one that breaks down into some degree of detail exactly what character qualities you demonstrated in that particular incident that resulted in the good work, that resulted in the high achievement? And I think you get a feel for why character-based praise is so much more powerful than behavior, achievement, or performance-based praise. And you don't have to go to this level of detail. He kind of went over and above here. But just to say, I appreciate your diligence, I appreciate your thoroughness, your cautiousness, your deliberateness, your initiative, your attentiveness, your alertness, whatever qualities they may have brought to bear on that particular incident. Praise them, recognize them for it. Don't ignore the good work, but connect it with one or more character qualities that produced it. This is Sheriff Ray Nash for Police Dynamics Media.